The damage you see right here is leaving pit grill employees wondering if they'll have a job. When you see the sign floating around Grand Parish, you probably should think before you litter. The right outfit could seal the deal for that dream job you want. The evolution of forestry all started with this man right here, Henry Hartner. The damage you see right here is leaving pit grill employees wondering if they'll have a job. Last night, customers and employees got a surprise from an unwanted motorist. A vehicle crashed into the restaurant, leaving it in shambles.
This place is horrible. I just want to know if I can work, how long it's going to take. Do I need to start looking for another job? What? I don't know.
The vehicle had been traveling northbound on MacArthur Drive and left the roadway, entering the median, making the wrong turn, striking a curb and a parked car. The vehicle then became airborne and crashed into the restaurant where a family had just got up from dining.
There were some customers sitting near the window that was busted out that had just a few moments earlier gotten up and got away from getting hurt, killed.
Witnesses say the driver abandoned the vehicle, leaving law enforcement to search for him. Owner Rob King says when he got the call, he wasn't surprised. King was just happy that his employees were safe.
I have 4 restaurants, and this is not the first time something like this has ever happened to us. So my first thought was to get up here and make sure my employees were okay and see what the damage was.
The driver was transported to a local hospital with none life-threatening injuries, and no other parties were injured. The driver was arrested and charged with reckless operation of a motor vehicle and was issued a criminal citation. Pit Grill's owner says they should be up and running as early as this weekend, so employees shouldn't have to worry.
The damage is not too severe to the restaurant itself, it's just to the manager's office. So I have one small section of exterior wall. I've got a contractor coming. I would hope I would be open by the weekend.
Char, ABC 31 News. When you see the sign floating around Grand Parish, you probably should think before you litter. Last year, Louisiana was named the most trashiest state in the nation. The Grand Parish Sheriff's Office and police jury came together to launch the Why campaign to change that reputation and keep the parish clean. They are making a bold statement with a Why sculpture that the parish inmates made out of iron with trash inside. Grand Parish cleanup crews are averaging 200 pounds a day. Sheriff Stephen McCain says this is avoidable and it can stop.
We can make the change. There's a lot of negative things, a lot of ugly things in this world that we don't have any control over, but this we do. And this affects us right here at our own home.
District 3 Police Juror Cephas Bowie tells me that this is an ongoing issue that needs to come to an end because it is costing them money.
Not only does it's unsightly, but it also clogs up our drainage systems. In our towns where we have catch basins and underground drainage, it clogs them up, so when we have a significant rain event, we have flooding. And out in the rural areas, it affects us as well with the ditches and the cross drains. And then when we go to more, there's a lot of trash and debris, and it costs us a lot of money not only to pick it up, but also to haul it off.
If you are caught in the act of littering, it could cost you more than just a fee, whether it is in Grant Parish or any other parish in the state. To be a part of the change is simple. Don't litter. In Grant Parish, Char, ABC 31 News. The evolution of forestry all started with this man right here, Henry Hartner. Hartner wore many hats from politics to lumber, but his love for reforestation set the tone for what forestry is today in the South. During his time as state senator, Hartner made it possible for lumbermen to avoid taxation that limited any prospects of reforestation.
He was the first lumberman to really understand that you could grow another crop of trees. But he also was a very serious advocate. So he would go across the South, telling other lumbermen, hey, we could grow another crop of trees. And then as a state senator, he helped pass legislation that made it economically feasible. See, one time after the trees were cut, the taxes were still the same. So lumbermen just wanted to abandon the land. but the combination of Hartner's ability to convince people to grow more trees and then making it economically feasible by the legislation that favored that.
He was a visionary who put his ideas into practice and others adopted his methods. With advancing technology, reforestation has grown immensely over the years, but Hartner's strategies are still the basics of where it all started.
They're harvested, and that's where we get lumber for everything, all sorts of wood products. And then the big thing then is how do we grow it? How do we get another crop started? And so and one of the things that was done by these three guys was the nursery techniques were developed. Grow little seedlings in the nursery, and to grow them big enough so that they could be outplanted. And so now in nurseries across the South, there's over 1 billion seedlings grown a year for reforestation. So it's a big deal, but they were responsible for kind of creating the basic knowledge needed to do that.
Hartner was ahead of his time, which is why he will forever be recognized as the father of forestry in the South. Char, ABC 31 News.
The right outfit could seal the deal for that dream job you want.
Which is why CLTCC business instructors Casey Rogers and Mornay DeRanger created a business boutique to help their students make a good impression when interviewing for jobs. Rogers says most of the students lack resources, and professional attire is one of them.
Clothes can give you confidence. And if you are going out looking for your first job or your first big job after you graduate college, we wanted to make sure that they had the confidence to succeed. We call it Dress for Success.
All CLTCC students have the option of shopping at the boutique, and it is totally free, with one condition: returning the clothes after they are done with them. The boutique has been getting a lot of buzz around campus, and students are more than thankful to have it as an option when they are in need.
This is great, having our own closet, because we could come in and have clothes for interviews when we need interviews. Because I know I would be properly dressed, I can come and get the proper clothes.
Business student Marilyn White says she is looking forward to picking out a few things.
Well, me, most likely if I was to come and say this boutique here, I'll get something like a skirt, a dress, and with the shoes that matches and stuff like that.
Not only do the students have the option of shopping for free, they will also have the choice of getting their hair done as well to look the part for that part-time job or dream job. In Natchitoches, Char, ABC 31 News.